YouTube, B Smokehouse back here with you. And again, this is our cured pork jowls. Alright, I'm going to pull. I went after about, this has been soaking for a day or so. Again, the mixture was brown sugar, pink salt, and kosher salt, done by volume of meat here. I had 2 pork jowls, not too big. So we're making pork jowl bacon. This is day 6.5, might as well call it 7. At day 2, I went and I put a few bay leaves in. I put some thyme. This meat has certainly firmed up. It's most definitely firm. Let me show you what we're looking like. So there's the fat side, and then there's that meat side. We might go back and look what that meat looked like before we got it into this cure. You can see it has darkened. We've got some penetration because even under the fat you see that that meat has changed color. The proteins have been denatured. This meat is stiffer than it was before I put it here in this brine. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get it in some fresh water for the next 20-30 minutes. Right? Now, after this water bath, what we're going to do, I'm going to get them out, get them dried, and back into the fridge uncovered on my slotted sheet. And we do this to form a pellicle. That pellicle is what the smoke attaches to. Many times when we're doing something like brisket or something like sausage, the overnight dry brine actually helps the meat to form a pellicle. Right? I'm trying to get as much of this stuff off the surface so that pellicle can be formed. You know the pellicle is formed because it's sticky to the surface, and this is what the smoke is attracted and sticks to. Let's get this out of the way so I can show you guys what I'm working with. Alright. Get you guys up here. Now you see that meat will stay dark. That means our brine penetrated. That pink salt has a lot to do with that. Pulls a lot of moisture and flavor out. And that salt through osmosis. And there's a few other processes that is occurring. It's going to pull some of those simple flavors and more robust flavors of that brown sugar and kosher salt into the meat. So these are set here for the next 10-15 minutes. And I'll bring you guys back when I'm getting these dried off, getting ready to put them back in the fridge to form that pellicle. Stay tuned. We back, y'all. So here are my 2 pieces of pork jowl bacon. Now, my only word with this is that did we get enough time in the cure to make sure that that cure made it to the center of this meat? I think we did. These are pretty thin, and some pork jowls can be quite thick. You don't have to worry about those, but we're still going to smoke these. So we're going to start drying this off to allow for the pellicle to form. We're going to get this back into our cool, dry fridge and let the air help us dry the remainder of this out while a lot of that flavor stays behind. That's what you want. Alright, we can see that meat has absolutely changed color. Alright, I'm not worried about this being overly salted. The recipe that I use will be down below. Because I use kosher salt, the flakes of kosher salt is a bit bigger than table salt. I did cut back on that salt. However, this is bacon. You want a bit of sweetness, you want a bit of brininess, saltiness to round things out. So I don't think we're going to have an issue. So we're going to get this into the fridge. I'm going to leave it like this, meat side up, so that cool air, the fridge, can draw out some excess moisture and help us to form a pellicle. Now, I am dabbing these dry. However, just remember they've been submerged in that brine for a minute, at least a week, 6.5 days. So other than that, I'm going to put these in my fridge, and I will bring you guys along with me tomorrow as I get up and start a fire. Again, not the biggest pieces of bacon. You certainly can do pieces of pork belly the same way, but we're going to roll with this pork jowl bacon. I'm going to see what type of magic we can make happen. Stay tuned. YouTube, B Smokehouse back here with you, and here are our 2 pork jowls. They've been rested overnight inside of that cool refrigerator. I put this in my kitchen refrigerator. My refrigerator out in my garage likes to freeze. That'll would have been no good. So we know that the salt brine is taken. I'm sorry, cure, right? Brown sugar cure has taken. Look at the color of these pork jowls before this happened. Before the cure happened, they were a lot lighter. Also, I know the pellicle is formed because actually this is stuck to this cookie sheet. Also, there's a nice sticky skin. That is what we know as a pellicle. This makes it easier for this piece of now bacon easier to accept smoke. I don't know yet if I'm going to season these down, maybe make some black pepper bacon. It really doesn't need any more salt. So I'm going to get these back into the fridge. I've got a rack of ribs I'm going to start another video on, and then I'll bring you guys back when I'm getting my fire started and getting these on. We're going to smoke them really low and slow. These are pretty thin pork jowls, so they're, I mean, max an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2. Then we're going to pull them off. I'm probably going to use these for a breakfast video that I'm going to do since I don't have any breakfast videos. We're going to eat some jowl bacon. Maybe not today, but I'm getting ready to go out of town, so maybe next week. Stay tuned. All right, this is our fire set up. I've got some charcoals. This is actual hardwood charcoal briquettes. And I've got 2 pieces of post oak. Running a bit high now. I'm just getting started. That's fine. I also have a slab of spare ribs on here. Don't want them to take all day. So now we're running with the stack about 3/4 of the way open. See how we're looking. So this is our 2 pork jowls, aka bacon, pork jowl bacon. Got some nice spare ribs back there. We're gonna wash this. I can see this fat is already turning color. It's still quite stiff, still quite firm. I'm gonna get a nice hour, maybe hour and a half, max 2-hour smoke on this, and then I'm gonna pull them off, let them come to room temp, and I'm probably gonna vac seal till I can get a recipe done with these. Stay tuned. All right, these pork jowls are looking mighty delicious, getting some great color. They are temping about 130. I'm gonna pull these off about 150, 155. I'm gonna let them come to room temperature, and then I might not be slicing them this go around. I'm gonna save them for another recipe I got coming up. However, we still got some pork jowl bacon. Stay tuned. All right, here's one of the pork jowls. The other one I've already went ahead and packaged up. Right. Alright, so we're going to get this one packaged up. I'm probably not going to cook this today. As you guys saw, I got some ribs. Those are going to be my Egyptian style ribs on the smoker right now. So this has a grain running from top to bottom like this. So we want to cut across, ensuring that we got some tender, streaky bacon. Streaky because the amount of fat here. Usually that's a term not necessarily used here in the U.S. However, you know, some of my UK brethren, they are generally in the recipes they present usually cooking with streaky bacon, and you look at that bacon, it's got more fat in it than it does meat. Not a bad thing. I can also tell you, so these because I got these from Porter Road, these have been dry aged. I can tell you that dry aged gives this pork jaw a funkiness. However, it's not a bad funkiness, it's a good funkiness. Much like a steak that's been dry aged for 30 days or so. Alright, smells good. This fat did start the rendering process. However, you know, on the top of this meat portions, it's a bit too much fat for my liking. So what I will do, not now, but before I cook these bacon strips, which will be in the next upcoming video in the next week or so, I'm going to probably chop some of the top off, which I really don't want to. I might just cook it then cut it off because this top has smoky flavor. Now, I did not season the outside of this. However, the inside and outside technically of this bacon should be more than seasoned. It stayed in that brine for about 6.5, 7 days. Let's get a piece out. Again, I'm not going to taste this now. Let's get a piece out. It's absolutely juicy, I can tell you that much. You can see Can you guys see that? Alright, we can see that that brine, that cure made it to the meat. It will flavor the fat, but what we're looking for is for that meat to be flavored, right? And we know it made it there because of the color, because of the texture. It denatured those proteins, right? So I'm going to get this put away. I'll bring you guys back when I have this packaged up and vacuum sealed as well. I might put it in my fridge. More than likely it'll be in my freezer to let this fat go ahead and re-solidify. I don't know. I need to go back and look at what I ordered. I don't know if these is a heritage breed of hog, aka Mangalitsa, or whatever other specialty pig that it is, but this fat is special. I taste it. Tastes like cracklings already. And again, this only stayed on the smoker for about an hour, hour and a half at 225, in between 225 and 250. Let me get this packaged up. I'll bring you guys back when I have this packaged up, and we're gonna talk about the way to proceed ahead. Stay tuned. Alright guys, here's my pork jowl bacon. I'm going to let this set out, come to room temperature, and then it's going to go in my freezer. The other bag that I have will go in the fridge to allow my family to cook bacon whenever they want it and need it, for breakfast or for whenever. I think I'm going to do a nice breakfast video with this bacon here. We still got a lot of rendering to do, but that'll be done either on the stove or on my Blackstone. Alright, so also allowing this to set in my fridge will also allow that smokiness to come down. I probably should have used a bit of a fruit wood. So apple smoked bacon is always a hit, and really doesn't matter what state you're in. Apple smoked bacon is the bomb. I could have added black pepper. However, for me, this is a benchmark. So I do this now, and the next time I cook either pork belly to make bacon, or I cook pork jowl to make bacon, then I'll start playing with some different flavors. So I'm going to let this come to room temperature. This will be going in my fridge. This one will be going in my fridge. This one will go in my freezer. When I get back off my trip, we're going to put a nice video together using this bacon. I don't ever want to give anybody the wrong message in saying that, hey, what I cook, I do not use. Anything I cook, now I may not be on camera, but I'm going to find a way to use it, even if there are leftovers. Some of you might ask, what leftovers? You know, I've seen different videos of mine and other YouTubers when people say, hey, here's an awesome recipe for leftover brisket. Most of the people in the comments go, hey, leftover brisket, what is that? Well, I got a pretty small family here in my household, so not everything gets eaten at one time. So it's kind of left on me to pique the interest of my kids, and I do that by coming up with awesome recipes, which I do not always record. Hey, this is B Smokehouse. Till next time, I'll see you guys in a few days when I'm putting down another banger video. Stay tuned. We got some pork jowl bacon. B Smokehouse out.